This is Peniel, and this will be a very short one. This is a short portion of Psalm 90 because I've been thinking about one of the verses a great deal. It says here from verse 9, "Indeed all our days slip away because of your fury. We live out our years like one long sigh. Each of us lives for 70 years, or even 80 if we are in good health. But the best of them bring trouble and misery. Indeed, they are soon gone, and we fly away. Who fully understands the power of your anger? A person fears you more when he understands your fury. Teach us to number each of our days, so that we may grow in wisdom. Return, Lord. How long? Change your plans about us. Your servants satisfy us every morning with your mercy, so that we may sing joyfully and rejoice all days. Make us rejoice for as many days as you have made us suffer, for as many years as we have experienced evil. Let us, your servants, see what you can do. Let your children see your glorious power. Let the kindness of the Lord be with us. Make us successful in everything we do. Yes, make us successful in everything we do. Teach us to number our days." Now, we're all supposed to number our days. It's a way of saying, think about the days you have, the time you have, from when you're born, and use it well in God's service. I think that's what it basically means. But I've become more conscious of numbering my days and using it well because, well, if you've had a near-death experience, you realise your days could have been up. So I count my days. I look back to when I was first reading the Bible and I reached the end of John's Gospel, and there's a verse that says, "This is a disciple that testifies of these things, and we know that his testimony is true." John's saying, everything I've written is true. Christ rose from the dead. I was with him. Christ paid for our sins upon the cross. And there's also other people who are able to testify of that who are still alive. So I think as a starting point, if someone says, how do you know it's true? My starting point has always been John's Gospel, especially the end of it, because it convicted me that it was true. I still wasn't converted, but it convicted me that the Bible is true. Later on, I met someone who came from Florida. He had come to set up Bible studies, and in the conversation he had with me, he said, "Salvation's a free gift. How do you receive a gift? You just receive it." And in that moment, I received Christ. Christ came to me. Christ had chosen me. In spite of all my sin, Christ had chosen me, and believe me, I know about my sin. And that was wonderful. Well, as the days and years went by in my church, there was a time when the minister, or some would call him the pastor, chose 3 of us. I was one, 3 young men. I was 18, and said, you and you're getting 10 minutes each at the midweek prayer meeting to open up the Bible and preach a bit to us. So you got 10 minutes each. So I had never preached in my life before. Sometimes youth can be foolhardy, because I thought, well, I'll just do what he does, the pastor. I'll choose a passage, I'll read it out, And then I'll explain to everybody what it means. So I thought I'll just do that. You know what, I still do that. But that's how I discovered my gift of teaching. And I have been doing it now for a good number of years. The church, of course, was my opportunity to do it, because after that, the minister never gave me 10 minutes again. He always gave me the whole meeting. And he also selected one of the other young men and gave him the whole meeting, and that other man went into the ministry of the Church of Scotland. Now, as you know, I got waylaid and I joined Operation Mobilisation. And it was a real privilege to preach to the team. And there were times when there were students, new recruits, and it was always scheduled every single time that the speaker that morning for the whole team and the new recruits would be me. And I knew they valued my teaching. And I know that my teaching was valued by OM, and it was valued at my Dunfermline church. And likewise, when I moved to England, went to the Quinta, I preached in elderly people's homes and sometimes preached in the church. God gives gifts, and in my case, my particular gift, I have others, but was teaching, and I'm determined it's not going to go to waste, and that's what the videos are all about. The old boy is not going to be pensioned off. George Verwer used to say when he reached retirement age that he wasn't retired, he was having a change of role. So that's what my videos are about. It's about not wasting my gift. I feel a real conviction it's not to be wasted, even at my age. And I also have experience now I didn't have at the start that I can use to bring to the teaching. And looking back now, how I had to call to do my 10 minutes, but there you go, it's just as well. And if you want to know how I set about it, well, you can. It's all in here. God's Kaleidoscope by a very strange person called George Falconer. And you can get it in a variety of ways. I've Googled for it and found that you can find it. You get it from Waterstones on order. You also can get it on order from Onwards and Upwards publishers. They published it. And as I say, if you've got a Christian bookshop, go there and order it. Now, recently, I was visiting a friend who used to be in Operation Mobilisation, and he gave me this book. He wanted me to have it because he said he was looking at God's provision, and of course he meant he's looking at God's provision for himself, being in missions, but he's also thinking about God's provision for me. And so the book is here. Oh, and this will be backwards, won't it? Right, anyway, Gladys Aylward, My Missionary Life in China. And this young woman went off to China and became a missionary there, and God provided for her. And I have to say that in my years in OM, God provided for me, because we are not a profit-making organisation, and you have to depend upon the Lord for your provision, and you don't have the normal going out to your work to a government or profit-making organisation to get your wage. So you learn about being dependent on the Lord, and I hope that I taught that to many when I was in OM, and I'm still within the cloud of OM. Just a change of role. So I'll leave you with those thoughts, and this has been Peniel.